Welcome to INN webinar. I'm your moderator, Marilyn de Guzman. In this session, we are going to hear from Walker Lane Resources, a Canadian exploration company building a diversified portfolio of mineral assets across North America. We will hear from Walker Lane Resources President and CEO, Kevin Brewer. A Q&A with Kevin will follow after the presentation. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Kevin Brewer for the presentation.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm pleased to have with me today as well our chairman, John Land. We will be making some forward-looking statements today. Walker Lane Resources is a gold and silver explorer focused in implementing year-round exploration on high-grade assets in mine-friendly jurisdictions, including Nevada and British Columbia. Our goals are highly attainable. We aim to discover deposits, expand the mineral resources, and then sell the projects at their peak value in the exploration life cycle. In addition, we plan to generate revenues for our company through property options, asset sales, and development of small-scale mining projects to generate value for our shareholders. Mineral exploration is risky, but it can be also highly rewarding. As an early-stage explorer, it is critical that Walker Lane mitigates many of the risks associated with exploration. To do this, we have adopted a sound and realistic plan to propel growth and value. Our vision starts by having high-quality gold and silver prospects with potential for high grades. And in our industry, the saying goes, grade is king. To increase our chances for discovery success, we will utilize a technology and knowledge-based approach to undertaking exploration programs implemented by a highly experienced management team, guided by our board and advisory groups, and supported by a prudent financial approach. We also have a tight corporate structure suited to capital investment and growth. To further mitigate risk, we have adopted a risk management approach to support our vision. Since 2023, we have completed deals that positioned us for our current growth. In late 2023, we sold a gold mill in Bishop, California. And as a result, we have 1.1 billion common shares of North Bay Resources, Inc., and a regular payment stream from them so that they will eventually acquire 100% of the project. In 2024, we also optioned our Silver Knife project in BC to our neighbor, a major miner called Coeur Mining, Inc. Coeur had one of the highest grade underground silver lead zinc critical mineral deposits less than 800 meters from the claim boundary of our Silver Knife property. That 4-year deal was worth approximately $6 million in combined cash payments and exploration expenditures, and for that they get a 75% ownership of the project. And for the remaining 25%, we can earn up to an additional $3 million. The deal also provided Coeur with a first right of refusal for our Amy project, which we will discuss later. The point being, we have a potential ready buyer for Amy. We understand investors are always seeking to maximize return, and in our sector, that often translates to above average returns in the short to medium term. Kevin Smith of Crescat Capital notes that when you find these returns in junior explorers, they are in the gold and silver space, and they have projects in the discovery and exploration phase. Walker Lane is positioned in that way. Now, there's a famous guy in our industry. His name is Pierre Lassonde. He was a billionaire mining entrepreneur, and he developed a graph, which I'm showing you right now, depicting where growth occurs in the exploration sector. The first growth curve exemplifies our position. Walker Lane has projects poised for discovery and resource expansion, and who can repeat growth opportunities by having a pipeline of projects that can then enter into that discovery and resource expansion phase. We are essentially the next generation of high growth opportunity in the cycle. So then we go back to what Kevin said, and he said, well, you want to be in both the gold and silver space, and we are in those spaces. We've gotten into gold and silver projects right now. And the reasons for that are numerous, but they're pretty obvious in everything that's going on with the gold and silver prices and their projections into the future. So we've acquired a diverse range of projects suited to this opportunity. So then it comes down to location, location, location. We picked Nevada and British Columbia. Now, first of all, Nevada is the second most attractive jurisdiction for exploration investment in the world and supports permitting and advancement of projects. And British Columbia also has a solid record in that area as well. Now, in this next slide, we just going to flick it up quickly, but it shows that really the governors, the senators, and all of the key politicians in Nevada, they've recently amended legislation, and there's clearly the political support for mining in that state. So then you have to make sure your projects have the right geology with known mineralization, the right setting for high-grade deposits, good infrastructure supports, road accessibility, and a host of other factors that contribute to low exploration costs, but at the same time provide you with projects with high potential to find deposits. Our project areas in Nevada and BC fit that perfectly. The Walker Lane area in Nevada is a belt of rocks in western Nevada that remain relatively unexplored with modern exploration methods, but yet were subject to considerable exploration and development in the 1800s and early 1900s. Mineralization is found throughout the belt, and our projects have great access and local infrastructure. Further to that, the old adage is, the best place to find a mine is in the shadow of a headframe. Our projects have old mines that were productive, but only went to shallow depths, and mineralization remains open to depth. Lastly, the region has had some major discoveries, a strong record of production, and huge gold discoveries like the Round Mountain Mine by Kinross, just north of Tonopah, and the 8 million ounce gold deposit at North Bullfrog by Anglo Gold Ashanti, which is the largest gold discovery in recent times in the United States. So the belt has excellent potential for large discoveries. So with the right jurisdictional conditions, a proven mineral belt, and a record of historical explorations, geologists like myself seek out projects that have other right ingredients that add to the greater probability for discovery. We look for projects with detailed geological, geochemical, and geophysical data, and with former mines as well. That's a wealth of information in itself. All of this has huge value for your projects. So let's get into the projects. Tule Canyon is one of our top projects. It came to us as a drill-ready project. On it, there are two former mines, the East Side and Dark Secret mines, developed to low depths. Now, we've done some work on that was done by the people that we bought the project off, and they've done some modern geophysics and around those mine areas, and they've discovered a large magnetic glow, which indicates the potential for more mineralization at depth under those mines. And what we also know is that there's a 5-kilometer structural corridor associated with numerous mineralizing showings on this property, indicating the potential to significantly expand the known mineralization. The other aspect about Tule Canyon was that surface sampling has identified numerous samples with greater than 10 grams per ton gold. By industry standards, that's very high-grade gold. Sampling above the underground workings at the deep Secret mine returned 40 meters of 0.469 grams per ton gold. Now in Nevada, that is typically considered a mineable width and grade. And in the same areas, rock sampling has produced numerous high-grade, greater than 100 grams per ton silver. Well, so the 100 grams translates to about over 3 ounces of silver. And with grades like that, the silver alone could potentially cover the mining costs, leaving any other metals that you have, including the gold, to be mined at little to no cost. So the intent of our company is to drill the 4 targets at Tule Canyon late this year in Q3 or Q4 for 2025 and start the initial investigation of that property. We are optimistic Tule Canyon will generate significant value. Now, our second project is in northern British Columbia, and it's called Amy. There we are targeting a style of deposit called carbonate replacement deposit, or is commonly known as CRD. This project is a mere 6 kilometers from our Silverknife project and 7 kilometers from Coeur Mining's Silvertip mine. And as we noted before, that is one of the highest grade silver, lead, zinc critical mineral deposits in the world. And it sits within, we're all sitting within a prospective land package that is known for these type of deposits. Now, you don't need to just take my word for it. So there was the Coeur's Senior V of Exploration, Effa McGrath, notes that there is the potential for other mineralizing systems, and CRDs are known to form in clusters. Other than silver and lead, Amy contains critical minerals such as zinc and antimony, and may also contain gallium. Critical minerals are highly sought by explorationists as they have increasing values. Amy had added tunnel developments in the 1960s, and then exploration waned due to the drop of silver prices, so the property has basically remained underexplored since that time. We're excited about that project. It has very high grades of silver, lead, and zinc exposed at surface, in veins, and in the adits. It indicates the potential for a large tonnage mineralizing system. The silver equivalent grades are very high, up to 3,200 grams per ton silver. That's almost 100 ounces of silver per ton. At those grades, it doesn't take much to develop a very valuable deposit. And then, on top of that, it's located close to a mill. So if you ever make a discovery at this project, you are not going to have to invest the large capital for a mill, because there's a mill just 7 kilometers away. So that's very attractive. Now, we go back just to the exploration cycle graph just for a second, because the other part of the puzzle was to have projects that replace the ones you're working. So we will work Tule Canyon and Amy and work to sell them eventually when they become major deposits. But then what are we going to do? So we have other projects in the pipeline ready to replace them. And the first project we're optimistic about is the Cambridge project. It's also in the Walker Lane Belt in Nevada, and is a high-grade project, gold project, with a former mine that has only been developed at low depths. There's over 40 historical workings on the property, and out of 68 rock samples collected from these workings and rock exposures, 20 samples graded over 5 grams per ton gold, indicating a potentially average grade gold system. A trench sample has also produced 3.2 meters of 14.65 grams per ton gold. And the other neat thing about Cambridge is it has visible gold. So you can find actually museum grade nuggets at this site. So it's kind of a really interesting project, and I'm very excited because I've never had a project with visible gold before. Then we also have acquired a smaller project called Silver Mountain, and it's another great prospect in the Walker Lane area. It's very close to Tule Canyon, so it'll be easy for us to work on while we're in the Tule Canyon area. And it has provided samples of very high-grade silver, up to 3,270 grams per ton. So that's a very exciting project. We don't know a lot about it right now, but there we go. It's got some potential. And then the other two projects that are in the pipeline are in Canada. So we have Logjam in Yukon. It's a very interesting gold, silver, lead, and zinc prospect. There's 2 adits on the property. We think there are a series of parallel veins, and we think there's the potential to be a large mineralizing system in that area. And finally, Silver Heart. It's been a project that at one time it was the focus of our company, where we've drilled it off. We're now examining the potential to utilize ore sorting technologies to support small-scale seasonal open pit mining. It'll sort of be like a gravel quarry, the way it'll operate. And the ore sorting will improve the grades. You load those higher grades ore into a truck and you take it to a mill. And the Coeur's mill is 100 kilometers away. So we hope that will provide the opportunity to develop that project in the near future. So moving off the projects, people always say, well, do you have the experience on your team to do the necessary work? And I wish to assure you my board is highly experienced in mineral exploration, finance, and managing resource companies. Our chairman, John Land, has over 30 years of experience in starting and managing resource companies and is also the owner of a mineral exploration drill company. Douglas Coleman also has over 35 years experience in managing exploration. He's a geologist like myself, and he's owned his own drilling company. Jose Manuel Delgado is a mining lawyer and accountant that services the mining sector. And then our management team have diverse backgrounds in geology, accounting, and legal areas. And our advisory board, that the experience those people have in geophysical and geological areas, there's over 500 years of experience between those two groups in supporting companies like ourselves. So then people always want to know, finally, are you going to take care of our money? And how are you going to use it? Well, I'm the largest single investor in this company right now, and I assure you, I take good care of our money. Walker Lane has a prudent financial approach. We operate virtual offices, and we did so before COVID. We have some of the lowest G&A costs in the sector, and we save monies through a contractor approach with our teams. As I say, I have skin in the game, so I like you. I want Walker Lane to maximize monies into the ground, and I assure you our operational style will continue to do that. So let's get back to the investment opportunity we are presenting. We consolidated our predecessor company, CMC Metals, so that we now have approximately 16.4 million shares outstanding. A nice, tight structure suited for future growth. We presented the vision. We plan to drive discoveries of high-quality gold and silver projects in supportive mining jurisdictions and propel the value of Walker Lane upwards through that exploration life cycle, where experienced investor groups like Crescat understand that is where the huge returns can be generated. We have the portfolio of projects both at the drill stage and those to be the next generation drill projects to support that value growth for the next decade.
We're currently announcing a financing, and it's going to be, we're trying to raise $1.32 million. It's going to be priced very aggressively, actually. We're trading around the 12.5, 14 cent. And so we're going to price the non-flow through shares at 12 cents, and we're going to issue 4 million shares. And we're going to do non-flow through shares flow through shares at 14 cents for an additional 6 million shares. So 10 million shares, and that will give us 1.32 million in proceeds. Now, what I wanted to tell you about the numbers is that before we had picked up these Nevada properties, we'd had evaluation by Fundamental Research Corp. And, I'm not allowed to state the number of that, but what I can tell you is that we are basically trading around 15% of our valuation. So, and that doesn't even include our acquisitions for Nevada. So we've increased value, and still I would, let's listen to it. I mean, we're trading at less than 15% of that valuation. So this is a great deal. And we're going to use the proceeds we talked about the Amy project. We're going to drill on Amy. We're waiting for a permit, but that's our plans. And we're going to do some investigations on our Yukon properties, and we'll start to work on the Nevada properties as well. So this money will serve that purpose, and hopefully we'll have a great season.
My board and team and myself, thank you for the opportunity to provide you with an overview of Walker Lane Resources, and I welcome anybody to give me a call or email me at any time with any questions. And it is great to have this opportunity to present to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kevin, for that very detailed presentation. I appreciate all of the information. I'm sure our investors appreciate, a lot of information about your projects, the leadership team, your financial discipline, and your investment value proposition. Now we're going to get on to the Q&A portion. I have some questions for you. You mentioned a goal of selling exploration projects at their peak value. What specific criteria or indicators do you use to determine that peak timing?
What you can see, in the past 5 years especially, there's been a number of projects that have raised a lot of money, and they're starting to peak out in value. They get to the stage where they're almost at the preliminary economic assessment stage, or they're already undertaking PEAs. And you start to find that the value at that point starts to sort of level off, and eventually they get into the feasibility stage, and the value actually drops quite significantly. And so what you want to find is you want to find deposits, and then you start to maximize them. You may start a PEA, you may complete that, but at most stages, the best thing to do is try to sell the project at that stage, because that will be the peak value.
You also mentioned a notably tight share structure of 16.4 million shares outstanding. How do you plan to preserve this structure while raising sufficient capital for multiple drill campaigns?
Well, there's a couple ways to do that. One is exploration success. Obviously, exploration success will increase the share price, and then as you have to raise more money, you can raise that better prices, and you can reduce your dilution in that way. The other thing, of course, is to be just cost effective and maximize the money that you're given to produce results. And what we've tried to do as well is minimize the risk of all of our projects, so that you can, you're in there, you do good work, you've got the databases to study, you pick good sites to drill, and as a result of that, you can really try to get a lot of work done with very little money, and that will minimize your dilution.
Right. And as a follow-up to that, maybe you can talk us through how you prioritize which projects or targets receive primary funding and attention.
Well, we discussed a number of those factors in the presentation, but Tule Canyon and Amy have obvious targets. Tule has those two mines with a large mag low underneath them, which is exactly what you want to see in a gold system, and it's got extension. The geophysical signature is showing us that it could go further up north where it's never been drilled before. So you start to look for those opportunities. Amy, we know that the mineralization is at surface. We know it's in both adits. There was an old historical resource, which we can't rely on, but there was old drilling in that area, and we're going to repeat some of that drilling to verify those old results. So we're going into these areas with known mineralization. We know it's of really decent grades, and that's the key priority, really.
Can you elaborate on the deal structure with Coeur Mining? I think that's one of the highlights of your presentation. Your deal with Coeur Mining for the Silver Knife project. Specifically, you mentioned the right of first refusal for the Amy project, how it might influence Walker Lane's flexibility or value realization from that asset.
Well, we went into the area knowing that it was basically only a few players, and Coeur had the mill. And they're going to redevelop the mill there. So that's going to be a couple of years. But they got a magnificent deposit. And we managed to pick up two projects, one right next to them, which was Silver Knife. and one a little bit further away to the west, Amy. And so with Silverknife, they came to us and said, we would like to buy your project. And so we negotiated that last year. It was an extensive set of negotiations. They've committed significant monies in investment in that project over the next 4 years. There's cash components and there's a lot of money going into the ground. We hope as a result, we've got 4 areas of prospectivity on that property. We've got geology very similar or totally similar to their deposit, the Silvertip mine deposit. We also had a prospect already on that was over the shared boundary of our projects. So I mean, it's just a great project. And then for them to express interest in Amy, they really see the potential of Amy just like we do, and it's road accessible. It would be easy to truck ore from Amy to their mill, and so they're looking at opportunities around their project that can really give them a number of opportunities for ore. And I think they're going to run a fairly. Their intentions are to run a fairly large mill at that project. So they will take all the ore sources they can find.
So let's talk about the Tule Canyon, which is your current focus. That project is drill ready. What's the scale of the initial program, and what would success look like for the first phase?
So we hope to drill it in the fall. So the first round of money we're going to put mostly into Amy, but we're going to start doing some studies on the Nevada projects over the summer and into the early fall, and then get into the specifics of exactly where the drill sites will be and stuff like that. It's frankly, the size of it is dependent on our financial position at that time and the ability to raise money in the market in late 2025. I think it'll be a great time. I mean, all the signals are there that gold prices and silver prices are going to be very strong into the remainder of this year and for the foreseeable future. So I'm very optimistic that, we can easily put an initial, I always hate to hang my head on this, but say an initial 1,500, maybe 2,000 meters of drilling, just to give us an indication of what's around those mines, and then start to plug away at some of the satellite showings that are also showing very big promise along that 5-kilometer prospective corridor that we have there. So there's going to be years of drilling on that project, I'm sure.
And with the Amy project, you mentioned there's possibility of other critical minerals present, such as zinc, antimony, and gallium. Will your upcoming drilling and assays be designed to quantify these elements?
Yes, for sure. I mean, we automatically get zinc and antimony, and you can run a special test for gallium. So, I mean, we'll do that on a representative number of samples and see if we have gallium around. Gallium is known to occur within the Silvertip deposit, and so we've tested it before, and we get sniffs of it. I think you got to test random samples every now and then, but we do know that there's large quantities of zinc and antimony in that deposit already from our sampling. So those will automatically be tested in the suite of testing that we do anyway. So there we go.
So obviously, your projects are both in Nevada and British Columbia. And these are two jurisdictions with differing permitting timelines, regulatory environments. How do these differences impact your project execution strategy?
Well, permitting is always something you have to be concerned about. We've had good experience with British Columbia. We know that the First Nations in that area are supportive. I mean, they're supportive of the Coeur project, and they've been supportive of our Silverknife project so far. So that's a very key ingredient. Also, to be prepared, have the right data to go to the permitting agencies so that they get all the responses and the information they need. So, for example, I'll give you an example. we did an archaeological overview assessment of both Silverknife and Amy years ago to prepare for permitting. That's a key part of any permitting application in British Columbia. So if you prepare yourself the right way, arm yourself with the right technical information, and go to the governments, it's and the First Nations, and you speak to everybody, generally permits come in a reasonable time frame. And finally, in Nevada is extremely well known for its very short time frames and permitting, but you can also do a lot of work in Nevada without a permit. And so that's a key advantage right away. So we know we can do a lot of work, but eventually we will file a permit in Nevada as well.
And I'm sure you get asked this question a lot. How are you positioning Walker Lane to stand out among the many juniors that are trying to attract attention during this early discovery phase, specifically in the gold and silver spaces?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we noted the couple deals we've done. I mean, there's probably a basket of 2,000 companies that are in this early stage exploration cycle. They many of them just have one project. We've got a basket of projects, all with high potential. We've done deals that are going to give us money or generate opportunity for us. We've also got a project that we feel we can develop a small scale potential in the 5 years time or so. So we're quite a different company in that regard. I mean, how many companies had a gold mill to sell? No. You could count them on your hand, but so we're doing a combination of exploration. We'll do deals when it makes sense to do them, and we've got that basket of projects that are all high grade projects, high grade gold and silver projects to back us up. And there's not too many companies in our position. We are the next generation gold and silver company in the globe. Frankly, our projects speak for themselves. And, if you look deeply into us and you talk to me about it, I can give you a ton more information on these projects that will persuade anybody that we've got a very good portfolio.
That's a good segue there. Maybe remind our viewers, our investors, if they want to get in touch with you or if they want to get more information, where do they go? Is there an email address or website that you can provide?
Sure. So first of all, our website is an easy one to remember. It's walkerlaneresources.com. If you happen to put in .ca, you will also get linked up to it. So it's walkerlaneresources.com. And in the website, of course, is my contact information. But mine is a fairly easy one as well. K Brewer, BREWER, 80@hotmail.com. So just think of beer and brewer and kbrewer80@hotmail.com, and you got me. And you can pick up the phone anytime as well. My number is on the website, 709-327-8013 during the summer. Changes in the fall, but you can reach me at any time. So just send me a note, and if you can't call me, I'll call you back.
Perfect. And I think that's all we have for today. Thank you again, Kevin, for the presentation and for answering my questions.
Well, thank you, and I'd like to thank yourself and the Investing News Network team. It's great working with you guys, and I look forward to continuing that. And thanks for everybody who joined us today.
Yes, and thanks everyone. As Kevin has said, thank you for joining INN webinar, and join us again next time for another presentation.